562. All right, so today, kind of to piggyback on some stuff we've already done, proportions to solve percent problems. And the whole chart graphy thing, the only purpose of that chart graphy thing is just to organize your information from a word problem. It's not necessary that you do it, but it's there to help you figure it out. Just to help you sort your information. And what you're going to find in these charts that we have here, when we are separating things out from a percent to an actual count, is that first column, the very bottom, is always going to be 100. Because we're figuring out percents, and we're looking at actual counts. So for example, if I said 21 of the 70 acres were planted with corn, so 21 out of 70 acres were planted with corn, what percent of the acres were not planted in corn? So I said 21 out of 70 were planted with corn. So 21 out of 70. That's 21 out of a total of 70. The chart is organization, right? That's the only reason to do it. So I left it 21 out of 70. I want to know what percent was not corn. So I'm looking at that box right there. So that is what and to be able to solve that, though, I have a problem. Because I don't know either percent. So to actually find the percent I need, in this case, I need to find this one first. Okay? I need to find that top one first because I don't have enough information to find the x. I do have enough information to find the y. That will allow me to find the x because I can subtract at that point. So if I write y over 100 equals 21 over 70, I have a proportion, correct? And if I multiply y times 70, I get 70y equals 21 times 100, which is 2100. And then my second step in the equation is to, in this case, divide by 70 on both sides.
Didn't we do this in the last lesson?
This is very similar to something we've already done. 2100 divided by 70, well, if I divide by 10, now it's 210 divided by 7. So 30, right? Because that's 0. So 30. So y equals 30. So now I know that this is 30%. So what would my x be?
It'd be 70.
It'd be 70.
That's 30%.
Right. And I got it. Caleb.
May not always work, but can you do like 21 and 70? That could be 310.
You mean reduce it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No reason why you couldn't. All right, so, and again, you don't necessarily have to do these charts. The charts are organization tools. So say you're behind in Mrs. Penn's class, and you have 60% of the Hobbit left to read. I don't know if you are or not, I'm just saying. Okay? You have 60% of the Hobbit left to read. And I don't even know how many pages it is, so I'm going to make it up. Okay, so if you have 60% of the book to read, The Hobbit, and you've read 120 pages, okay? So, by the way, that one's always 100, right? I said you had 60% left to read, but you have read how many pages? 120. So that's different numbers. So this is going to be 60% here, but 120 is going to be up here. Because these are two, we're talking about, this is what you have left, 60%. This is how much you read. So what number is the other percent? 40%. And again, I don't have enough information to find out what the actual count, the 60% correlates to. I don't have that. But I can solve it, just like we did the last problem. I can write 40 over 100, or if I wanted to reduce that, I could, equals 120 over X. I don't know the actual count, how many pages are in that book, but I'm about to find out. That's 40x equals 120 times 100. And I'm not going to multiply those two together because 40 goes into 120. So if I divide by 40, that makes my variable isolated. It's by itself now. 40 goes to 120 three times. Okay, 3 times 100 is? So now I know that my book is 300 pages long. How much do I have left to read? 180. Okay? So I had to do a second step. This is, as Caleb's already mentioned, this looks like something we've already done, because it is. There's a slight twist to it, and our numbers don't always line up. All right? So let's try one more, because one more comes in a different shape. So same thing. What's the chart? It's a tool, something that you can use for organizing. The bottom left is always 100 in these kinds of problems. All right. 30 problem quiz in social studies today. I'm making that up. It's not. 30 problem quiz in social studies, and you missed 4. Okay? So 30 is the total. 4 is what you missed. 26 is the rest, correct? What percent did you get right? What's your grade? What's your grade? I figured out 26 because 30 minus 4 is 26.
Oh.
Right? What?
She was staring at me and I thought something.
Oh, okay. We want to know what your grade is, and that's going to be right there. I have all the information. I could solve it right out. Although this isn't as easy as it could be. Okay? Caleb, what's 26 over 30 reduced? Or anyone? Let's say Caleb, because it was your idea before. Just to make the numbers easier to work with.
Can you reduce it?
What?
Can you reduce
Yes,
it?
you can. They're both divisible by 2.
Or 13 over 15.
13 over 15. All right, so if you had x over 100 equals 13 over 15. Okay, so basically what you end up with is 15x. There's 2 ways you can solve a percent problem, but 15x equals 1300. So you got to divide. And we want to make this a percent, correct? So we're going to write this as a mixed number and as a percent. All right, so 1300 divided by 15 is, 15 goes into 130 how many times? I'll give you part of a clue here.
I know, I got
8 times?
8 times. Oh, 8 times. So that is what? What's 15 times 8? 120. Okay. 15 goes in 100 how many times?
4 times?
4 times, you say?
Yeah.
Go bigger, that's 60. 6 times?
Yeah.
6 times, that is 90. What do you have left? 10 over 15, right? I said write it as a mixed number, didn't I? 86 and 10/15. Is that done?
No, you can do-
I can reduce that, so I will. 86 and 2/3%. That did not come out evenly, and we're talking about percent, so you're gonna write that as a mixed number and write the percent symbol after it. Okay, so I showed you 3 different ways these problems could line up. And I did not, and then the examples in your book are just like the ones I just did. I just didn't do the ones in your book. And those examples will show you exactly how those problems will line up. Any questions? All right, that's it. Good job.